This is a Dogfight double set with the Bristol Beaufighter Mk.X or 10 and also a Focke-Wulf Fw190 A8, both from Airfix, 1/72, and they are both the new tool versions of these kits. In the box you get the Beaufighter, the Focke-Wulf and the stand, which is quite nice, and decal options for both, as well as some paints as well, as this is a starter set. This was quite a good price for me, in TK Maxx of all places at £12.99, so snap this one up, it's a pretty good bargain. We start with the instruction sheet, and everything's in one A4 booklet here, so as you go through you've got the usual stuff from Airfix, and then getting into it we start with the Beaufighter, and this is new version instructions here for the Beaufighter, with the colour pointing out where the placement for the previous part was in each stage, and as we go through it's quite well detailed, and there's framing work all the way through the fuselage halves on the inside, and we start with the cockpit build up and bring two parts together, and then there's a bottom to the fuselage with wing spars which goes in, that creates the cockpit floor, and then the underside of the aeroplane is added on. Then we start on the wings, so they're pretty straightforward, in two pieces onto the wing spar to give you a good join. And then looking at ailerons here and the rear horizontal stabilisers, you've got inserts into these, so they're hollowed out. Not sure what the reason behind that is, it might become clear as you start to build the kit. Engines look really good, very nice detail with the engine cowlings going onto the wings here. Building up the front as well, the nose piece goes on, starting to look a bit more like a Beaufighter there. You've got two options for gear up or gear down, so you can have it in flight, and you've got weighted wheels if you do the gear down, so it's quite complicated in a good way. I mean, it's quite well detailed, should I say, if you want to have the gear down. And then we're going through putting on clear parts and the final details for the plane with propellers to build up and finish the plane. We've got marking options there for the Beaufighter, which is one option, Royal Air Force, Aberdeenshire in Scotland, February 1945. It is full stencil data on this one, which you don't always get in the starter sets, but you do in this version. Then we're on to the Focke-Wulf A80. I've done a review of the F8 A8 version, which covers pretty much all of this plus an extra sprue, so I won't spend too much time on here, but we will run through the instructions. And there is one important part in this kit that leads on to the review I've already done. So as you go through, much like the other kit, you build up the fuselage and then start putting parts into the wings and the rear of the fuselage and the tail, and then we add the cannons and the top and the bottom part of the wing coming together, and then the fuselage goes onto that, and then you've got the option for gear up or gear down, and canopy sections you can have open or closed with the same piece, and then you've got a drop tank as an option, and then the engine and cowling slips in as an insert. The marking option for this is very nice. It's a really nice option here. Quite interesting with the ROM 75 and 74 on the upper wing and top of the fuselage, and then you've got the mottling on the side with ROM 76, which is the late underside colour for the Luftwaffe, and then you've got alternative either white or yellow for the tail rudder, and decals for the keels, and this one has got quite a lot of keels. I haven't counted them up, but there's a good amount there to go on the rudder, so he's obviously quite the pilot. This is Blue 4, flown by Lieutenant Rudy Linds, and this is in Norway, February 1945. So that's the instructions. We'll start with the Focke-Wulf. As I said, I won't go through all the sprues here. I just want to make a point of the one that I had in the F8 version. We had a problem with the canopy, and luckily in here both canopy sections are absolutely fine. You've got a slightly bubbled canopy and then a more straight canopy. In this version we use number 3, and in the F8 version we use number 4, and in my kit for the F8 here, the canopy section that's used in this one, which is the bubble one, has got a massive crack in it, so I'll be able to use this part for this one. If that wasn't the case, you can go through Airfix's website and get replacement parts, but I won't need to in this case. So that's just a follow on from the review I did on this one. So that's quite good. If you want to know about this Focke-Wulf, have a look at that review. I'll put links for it. The only difference with the F8 is you get an extra sprue with bombs and a few inserts for the wing. Apart from that, it's the same kit. So I'll just run through the parts for the starter set. So you get 2 brushes. These are extremely useful. I use these all the time. Sometimes they're really quite nice for deco application. As you know, they're clean straight off, so you give them a slight wash and then you're ready to go, and they haven't had paint. Also, if you do use them for weathering and stuff, they're quite good if you cut them down to about 1 centimetre. You can use them for stippling in sort of pigments and things like that, so they're quite useful. The paints, I don't tend to use them. They go in a toolbox for a rainy day, and certainly the glue is not very good at all. So that's the starter pack set, but it's all an addition. It's quite nice. Then we've got the stand. Don't think I'll use this. You've got a little sticker there that goes on to tell you what the planes are, and then you've got the stands and an Airfix sign, so they can be posed like this if that's what you want to do. And then we're on to the Beaufighter. So everything's in one bag apart from the canopy, which is separately bagged, and very nice. Just open that and make sure it's okay, because again I've had 2 kits in a row that have had problems with the clear parts from Airfix. Not really a reflection on them, and they are pretty good for replacing them. There's no problem with these. They're very good, extremely clear, and you should have no problem with these. Then into the kit itself, so we start with this sprue, which has got the 2 fuselage halves, covers for the wheelbase for open or closed, parts for the tail and the rudder, and fixings for the weaponry underneath. You get 2 figures, and there is the bracing on the inside of the fuselage, which is nice added detail. Then the next sprue has the cockpit floor and the underside of the fuselage, as well as the engines, the cowlings or nacelles, lots of rockets here, and the wheels, which have separate inserts for the middle, and you can see the weighted option there. They come in 2 halves, so you join them together, and then that gives you the weighted option. Then we're on to the wings. Really nice panel line detail here, all recessed with nice bits of riveting in places. A little bit deep and heavy, but probably not too much of a problem. In 70-second scale, it's probably a little bit better to over exaggerate the panel lines so you can see them. They take a wash nicely. And there's the wheelbase, which have quite a lot of detail inside. Then we run on to the last sprue, so there's your 2 options for the horizontal stabilisers, and as you can see you've got inserts to go in them here. Really nice propellers and parts of the cockpit detail and instrument panels and side panels. There is a torpedo included in this. There's the wing spars, and there's the parts for making up the undercarriage and a few details for the fuselage and the smaller parts, and there's the 2 seats, which are very nicely done. Then lastly we've got the decals, which are really nice, very well done, cartograph decals again, instrument panel and stencil data there for the Beaufighter, and again stencil data and instrument panels for the Focke-Wulf. very good marking options, extremely clear and very well printed. Very nice colour range as well. That green is especially good with the blue. It should look really nice on the finished aircraft. There's the keels to go on the tail. As you can see, there's a number of keels there, so this pilot obviously did very well. And the roundels, again, everything looks very, very good on this decal sheet. It's quite nice to get all the stencil data, which you don't often get in quite a few of the starter sets. So that's the Dogfight doubles, 1/72 Bristol Beaufighter and Focke-Wulf Fw190. This is now not available on Airfix's site, so if there's any around, they might be on offer. So certainly pick one up, it's well worth it if you can get it for a good price, and highly recommended.